Senor
There,
Bradley,
Joe. Hello, sir.
just doing a little 305 shuffle.
305 shuffle. That's cute. Is that
Yeah,
Latin
it's
music?
I'm memeing it for the Miami Heat.
There you go. There you go.
So how you feeling, man? You sound like a little under the weather.
Yeah, I'll be doing that quite a bit. I'll have to remember to mute. I'm feeling shitty, but such is life. Such is
I
life.
told you, man, those skanky girls,
We
you got to be careful, man.
Oh, stop. What do you call you calling my wife skanky?
No, no, I'm talking about all the people you were partying with in Denver.
Oh,
Of course,
please.
I'm
Please.
joking, Mrs. Nickel. I'm joking.
Yeah.
He's a pillar of
Joey's a big
propriety
fish.
on the road. Well, I'll be second on that list.
Okie
so,
dokie.
so how you catching up on everything since the conference?
I am attempting to. I'm trying to get this Arweave episode out by the end of the day, as promised to the Arweave team. It's so good though, man. This guy's like, phew, he's the shit. We got a lot of visitors today, Joe.
I see
Welcome
that.
to
I think it's the.
all the CoreDAO folks. We welcome you to the show. Glad you could join us. Exciting to have you
Absolutely.
guys here. Today, our guest are, I guess, the founders of CoreDAO, Joe.
I believe so. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Um,
All right.
I told them that they could stay anon and keep the cameras off. So we'll see what they decide.
Aha. Okay. All right. That's good. That's fine. That's great. Let me see if I've got some. I think we've had a few stories we've loaded into the queue while awaiting their arrival. And I did send out the link to their person.
Yeah, I sent them the
So
link
hopefully they get
directly
it.
because I. Yeah, no, I sent it to them directly. I just
Okay.
the one that went to the PR guys. I just wanted to make sure they knew that that was for show attendees, not for viewers. So I steered them to the link that we put in the
Okay.
pre-announcement.
Yeah, that's all we need is 2 million, 2 million guests.
Yeah. Niblett said, yeah, he's excited about this, looking for an IPFS alternative. Sean, lots of guests, I will
I think
behave.
he's
And
talking
Niblett's is
about
like,
Arweave.
oh, are we? Yeah, but then Sean's like, lots of guests. And then Niblett's like, don't you dare. And Shizzy's, I just listened to the whole Chair Powell congressional hearing and now my head hurts. Yeah,
Oh
nothing to see
shit!
there,
Really?
buddy.
What was?
Oh, it
Yeah,
just
was there
means more
anything out of
interest
that?
rates, more interest rate hikes.
Oh, oh, well,
But I
there you
think
go,
everybody
buddy.
already expects that. Um,
Uh, all right. So you sent over a story. Amazon NFTs will be tied to real world assets. Token may be incoming. How real is that?
Well, the next comment I think in that thread was that there's no confirmation on the token, but that and it would be a closed system, not
Like a
open.
rewards token.
A gate, I think so, or gated. But the main thing was, it's kind of like we talked about even at the conference. Tying NFTs to real world product, and then you can deploy the NFTs into other applications, DeFi, GameFi, all of those things. So I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, if
yeah.
whatever they do would be tremendous amounts of user adoption and new entrants into the market. So that would be good.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I think it's actually an interesting concept to have the things you buy from Amazon be NFTs because then you have a used marketplace potential, right? Because someone acquires the NFT from it, you ship it to the product, the physical product to them. It ties into, I mean, there's a lot of used merchandise sold on Amazon as it is, so it would make sense. And then rewards, capabilities, all kinds of shit. I could see this really having a ton of potential. You're right. And look, use of that platform and end users finding out that these are actual NFTs, that'll be a boost. You gotta love that. Gotta love that.
Yeah, think about on the ideas of like books and ebooks and music and all of those, normally digital products, that then ties into ways where you could cross promote with the musicians or artists themselves or the writers themselves into other events that we talked a lot about with like iHeart and what they're trying to do. Who was was it Rihanna who just did the big NFT play that they were talking about? It was one of the superstar musicians. I can't remember the name.
If in the same sentence the words pop star or pop music appear, my head just blocks it all out.
Oh, I know, because you're like the big K-pop guy, right?
Yeah, that's it. Niblet says NFT/token is that last step to making Amazon the world's company store. Very Robert Baron industrial revolution. I think Amazon is already the world's company. It's my fucking company store. I mean, look, we still go to Costco, we still go to Publix, we still go to BJ's, we go to Fresh Market, whatever. But, when we have to buy stuff, first place I go is Amazon, right? So now, their biggest problem for me is the fake reviews.
Yeah, they got to clean that up. But that's a good point that Shizzy makes right there.
If I want to buy a new door on Amazon but haven't moved to the new house yet, the door is on sale and I can buy an NFT, then, that's a brilliant idea, Shizzy. Holy shit, that's smart. Okay, so let me finish what he said. If I want to buy a new door on Amazon but haven't moved to the new house yet, the door is on sale and I can buy an NFT that I can redeem later. That would be cool. That would be awesomely cool. Now you'll see people. I mean, we'll have Black Friday is going to start, December 26th.
Exactly.
Stores will be like, vendors will be like, oh, I'm just going to sell this NFT now. And wow, though, think about this. The NFT kind of like the crowdfunding model, like, hey, we're going to build these later, but allow them to sell the NFTs in advance of a manufacturing run, right? So now and maybe you preset a date for delivery, right? And now the manufacturer who's selling on Amazon says, oh, okay, now I know what I need, right? Now I know what I have to manufacture. And there's a lot of them. I'm going to have 1,500 of these. So there's 1,500 NFTs. When they're gone, they're gone. Inventory system, I don't give a shit because I'm going to pre-sell my inventory. That's really interesting, Shizzy. Shizzy, making us think. Yeah, that is. Crypto Marketing says, waiting for CoreDAO Live and also listed Core Coin listed. Not sure what you mean there, but they are coming. According to Joe, they will be here in 5 minutes. So Chuck says that won't work without an expiration date. Who wants to carry that delivery obligation on their accounts for an indefinite time? Well, it might be breakage, but yeah, an expiration date makes sense. Niblet says, Shizzy, that creates supply chain backlog problems. We would end up with Cushing, Oklahoma oil not moving problems. Well, I don't know. I like the idea of a manufacturer being able to know what his future sales are going to be. Sean says, interesting day in for Grayscale. Seems like we may get that ETF. Oh, shit. I didn't see any news on that today. Did you see that, Joe?
Yeah. No, I saw that there was, I think Alameda or somebody filed a lawsuit against Grayscale trying to unlock their tokens in there, or maybe it was FTX, but it's a big number. It's like $8 billion.
I think Sean's talking about Grayscale's lawsuit against the SEC for the ETF approval.
No, I'm pretty sure that is what he's talking about. But my point is that, look, if the bankruptcy guys for FTX are demanding the tokens be unlocked, then it's an easy one then for the SEC to say, yes, let's approve the spot ETF.
I got you.
I think that's the logical connection. No, I mean, it's in my head, dude. I didn't say it out loud. So, yeah.
Judge grills SEC on the reasoning behind its denial of Grayscale coin ETF. Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. I saw another tweet there that said traders are snapping up Grayscale tokens, but who knows?
Yeah, somebody says up
in other
20%.
news, Elon Musk is losing his mind with the next employee in the middle of Twitter, which has been interesting to watch, but we won't go into it. But
the one with muscular dystrophy?
Yeah, he's losing his fucking mind, dude. He's just.
I mean,
He's,
it's just ridiculous, dude.
oh, you know what? Let me publicly disclose on Twitter to my millions of followers that you have a disability that only HR knew about.
Yeah, and then get a seven tweet thread back on it. And, of course, Musk is saying, and all he does is tweet all the time. And the guy comes back and says, well, I have muscular dystrophy and my arms don't work, but I can get a finger to work. And you're like, does that not make you look like a total scumbag? And like you said, disclosing HIPAA data. I mean, that's like the second most valuable data out there. The only other thing I don't think you can talk about that's more private in the U.S. is tax data. But health data is way up there. So, I mean, he's exposed himself to a monster lawsuit.
Sean's back on the grayscale thing. Sean says we could open a doors futures market. No, he's talking about the Amazon NFT. That we could open a futures market with people buying NFTs in the future. That's awesome. He says GBDC up 20%. Crypto marketing. We're happy you joined the chat. Thanks for joining us. XBT3D says Sean says CoinDesk has a piece on the grayscale thing. So anyway, got some news chomping in today. Let me see what else we got, Joe. You posted this KYC thread. Did you see CoinMarketCap posted a piece yesterday saying how important it is that we have KYC for everything? Like what? What are you doing? Why? What do you gain posting that as an opinion? You could post both sides of the equation, but why would you alienate half the market that doesn't want KYC by saying we should have KYC? It's just, I mean, there's nothing to gain there.
Yeah, I didn't really get that point either. I was not sure what.
I was shocked about that. Chuck says HIPAA only applies to medical professionals dealing with your data, not fucktwit billionaire CEO one. I think HR human resource department disclosing to the CEO could have a problem with that. I don't know if it's HIPAA, but maybe
it might be something else. Yeah, because there were quite a few. Yeah, there were quite a few lawyers weighing in that chat that about the exposure he created. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but I do know that health data is super, super protected in this country.
All right, we have one of our guests here.
There we go.
Have one of our guests here, but quickly we'll hit on it. But evidently Kraken is on track to try to launch a bank very soon, despite the regulatory weird place. I thought for some reason they were involved in what's her name's bank. I thought that was their own. I thought
Caitlin's?
They owned that company. Yeah.
Custodia? I don't know.
Am I confusing them? I don't know. Anyway, we have Brendon with Core with us. Brendon, you ready to roll, man?
How's it going, Joe?
Hello, sir.
Brad, I feel like I just saw you guys.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, it wasn't a couple hours ago, right? Feels like it, yeah.
Whirlwind.
Yeah.
How's it going? You recovering?
I think, partly. I think a lot of people got sick. It was like a super spreader, so I'm feeling that a bit, but I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah, me too. I may have been the spreader. My son had it before I left the house, so maybe I'm the one that corrupted the entire place.
Yeah. Yeah, but it feels good. That was a ton of fun, but it's like those things are always a lot of work, meeting partners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
it
just
absolutely
so much action that takes a lot out of you.
Chaos. Absolute chaos. So Brendon, is anybody else from the team joining us, or it's just going to be you today?
I'm just gonna rock solo.
Awesome,
Nice.
Awesome. A lot of faith in me, I guess.
Yeah, well, they should. They absolutely should.
Okay, there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, you're getting a little
on my end. Are you guys hearing me? Okay.
Yeah,
we are, but you are lagging a little. But we'll just all slow down a little bit. I'm on like 400 cold meds, so I may rush over you, but I'll try not to.
Yeah, if it becomes an issue, I'll find a better Wi-Fi area. But normally it's pretty good. So just let me know. I feel you on the cold meds. We're probably in a competition right now, Brad.
That's good. That's good. So, Brendon, I think it'd be great. I mean, we've got a lot of the CoreDAO community who have joined the call, and I'm sure we'll listen to it on the podcast later or later on the YouTube channel. But there's also our core audience that listens to the show regularly, and I think it'd be really great if you could, well, first introduce yourself, and then dive into kind of telling us why CoreDAO, why this chain exists, what you guys are building, what the purpose of it is, and why you all think it's important that it exists, and what the benefits are going to be to the world, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thanks, Brad, Joe. It was a pleasure meeting you guys. So for the audience, we met in person at ETH Denver just a couple of days ago. It was a pleasure meeting these guys. They're very knowledgeable about the space, so I'm pumped to be here and rep Core. So I'm honored to be on the show. So I'll answer all those questions. And if I ramble a bit, feel free to interrupt me with questions, because there's quite a bit there. So yeah, I'll just start with myself. So I'm one of the contributors at CoreDAO. I focus a lot on the BD side of things, but as a contributor, just setting up a variety of pieces within the Core blockchain. I'll just quickly go over my background. I've been in tech over 10 years. I actually ran a mobile startup in the construction space that I was VC funded and went through the whole cycle of VC funding, and then ultimately an exit to a private equity group. And yeah, a lot of the team has pretty deep experience over tech over the past decade. But let's talk about Core. So Core is basically it's a brand new layer 1 blockchain that's EVM compatible. And how we describe it is it's basically new L1 chain that combines the best aspects of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And there's a bit of a story behind it as to why it was created that I think is great for the context. So, and I think I told you guys this story, so these guys have already heard it. But for the audience, really the idea kind of came from this debate a couple of years ago between two friends who at the time, one of which was a Bitcoin maxi, the other an ETH maxi. So on the Bitcoin side, a lot of firm opinions about, the consensus, proof of work being the best consensus. But on the ETH side, there was, if you remember a couple of years ago, it was like DeFi summer, a ton of utilities were being built, and it kind of opened up everyone's eyes that you could build awesome apps. And the virtual machine was really kind of changing the game. So that conversation kind of culminated in the creation of Core, and that we thought, how can we actually combine the best aspects of both? So how we did that was basically we've got this EVM chain. So we're a fork of Geth. We have all the smart contract capabilities and composability that you get with Ethereum, all with fees that are better performance than Matic. But the consensus mechanism actually is built, very much incorporates Bitcoin proof of work. So instead of just being a solely delegated proof of stake consensus, if you're running a validator on Core, you actually can take in Bitcoin mining hash rate and delegated proof of stake. We score the validators based on their share of each of those pieces. And with that, we're basically baking in the decentralization and security that comes with Bitcoin mining directly in the Core blockchain. So mining pools basically if you're running a mining pool on the Bitcoin network for no additional work, you can allocate that hash that you're already producing to produce Bitcoin blocks to validators on Core, earn additional rewards, and basically lend the security and decentralization to the Core network. So that's the pitch. We worked on it a couple of years and actually launched, just shy of 2 months ago, mainnet went live. And then we had a pretty monumental airdrop 3 weeks ago. One of the biggest smart contract interactions of all time. We airdropped over 1.2 million people as part of that.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's rewind a little bit, because I just want to make sure I understand how the proof of stake, proof of mining, or the proof of stake, proof of work consensus works together.
Sure.
Because it sounds conceptually powerful, but it also sounds messy. So I'm curious, I'm curious. Like, if you're a validator, are you also mining, or can you be one or the other, or and how those work in conjunction together? You talked earlier about kind of the ratio, but could you kind of walk through that a little more detail for us on that?
Yeah, of course. And Brad, putting my feet to the fire, man, as a business guy, technical chops.
No, I want to make sure I understand it, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So you could treat them as completely separate things.
Okay.
We do think that Bitcoin miners or mining pools will run their own validators too. There's some value to doing that, but thus far we have just a variety of different validators, who are kind of running validators on many chains. So you don't have to do one. You don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. So how you can think of it is we do this. There's room for 21 validators in each block. So for example, if there's 40 validators trying to get elected and earn the rewards and secure the blockchain, we have space for 21. And how you get chosen as a validator in that round robin, like every time a block is produced, is basically there's a weighted score as to how much hash rate has been allocated to your validator and how much proof of stake has been allocated to your validator. So on the stake side, users can go to stake.coredao.org, pick a validator and actually stake, just like most staking chains, and earn rewards. And if you're a Bitcoin mining pool, there's a process where you can do the same thing. So you can allocate your existing hash and pick one of the validators, or you can choose to run your own validator. But generally, you would look at the validators, probably make a decision which validator is the furthest ahead or what's going to pay out most, allocate your hash, and then you earn rewards for your hash power. And then we're basically ranking the validators based on how much hash rate has been allocated to them and how much proof of stake has been allocated to them. And so on the technical side,
go ahead.
Bitcoin hash, I'll add one more point because it's a bit technical, but we've kind of created that on our white paper. You can read through all the technical details, but to get the Bitcoin hash over to the validator itself, it's a process that takes like 5 minutes. It's important to note that Bitcoin miners don't have to do double the work. We're actually looking at their existing activity on the Bitcoin blockchain, good behavior, how much blocks they're producing. That gets relayed through this trustless relaying mechanism over to the validator, and it gets put into sync a week later just to prevent fraud or poor behavior, because things can happen a couple days later. So there's a delay of a week. We look at the Bitcoin behavior there, and then that's what ultimately gives the score on the validator that's gotten that hash.
And you said there was a delay of how long?
About a week. So basically, everything comes into sync about a week later. So we relay the hash over, and it gets confirmed 1 week later, just to prevent bad actors or fraud, because transactions can be reversed, etc. So it's just like basically a security mechanism to make sure that there's no poor behavior, and we're giving proper score to the hash rate coming to the core network.
Okay, so as a Bitcoin miner, I can be mining in a pool. The hash rate can be assigned to a validator on Core's L1, but this isn't gaining rewards, or tokens from Core, from the validator, are not dependent on actually mining blocks on Bitcoin. Am I correct on that?
So I'd clarify that they are. So they're like producing blocks on Bitcoin, right? The miners and the pools are doing their thing. They're earning Bitcoin rewards. And typically to do that, they need to have good behavior as a validator, right? So,
sure.
If they act poorly, their rewards get taken away or they get sliced. And you can think of it as they're just kind of going about their day. They're producing Bitcoin blocks. That activity is being relayed over to Core. And assuming their behavior is good, like it is on Bitcoin, they get paid additional rewards for the work they've already done on the Core chain as part of the validator set. So it's a way for Bitcoin miners to actually boost their profitability upwards of 20 to 30% for work they're already doing.
Right. So you're not asking them to do more work. They get applied whatever hash rate they're providing to the Bitcoin network. They get that applied to the validators on Core, and can gain rewards for what they're already doing. They're not adding any. They just have to connect to the validator and say, this is my validator, and have a wallet and expose it to the validator. Yep. Okay. And
exactly. That's important. There's no net new energy being built. We're using existing work, and we're almost recycling it in a way, if you want to use that energy metaphor.
Yeah, and that sort of drops straight to the bottom line too. That's almost 100% gross margin on that.
So Sean, this question is from Sean. He's our Bitcoin maximalist and also has a good amount of experience at mining. And he's asking, so it's only mining pools, is that correct?
Yeah.
Or they can be individual.
Mining pools. Yeah, it would be mining pools, and they would, I guess, dictate, the reward payout to the
cool.
miners themselves. Most miners are part of a bigger pool. If you look at
sure.
The biggest pools in the world. So yeah, it's done by mining pools themselves, and then they pass on the rewards to the miners in the pool. Yeah.
So then how does the hash rate, the consensus mechanism on Bitcoin impact the consensus on Core? I mean, or does it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand how that works in conjunction with proof of stake to have blocks happen on Core.
Yeah, I think the thinking there was, apologies, the cough is coming up here, but
it's okay, man.
There was, we weren't, as a team, we weren't that excited with the direction of solely delegated proof of stake blockchains. The reason being is it's somewhat pay to play. You kind of need to, pay a higher price to get involved, and you're buying off existing investors basically to get involved in the chain. And the other factor that we were seeing was it's very easy for large centralized players to own most of the stake, and they're kind of geographically located in America. I'm confident that there'll be solutions on that, down the road, but that's just kind of what we were seeing, right? So the thinking was, how can we lean on a consensus that we feel is the most decentralized and secure, which to us is the Nakamoto consensus, using computer power, solving math problems that's highly decentralized. How can we lean into that model and incorporate that into the chain? So that was kind of the genesis behind it. And basically how we're doing that is we're literally incorporating the behavior of the mining pools and the miners in the pools, and leaning on that and baking that built-in decentralized security into our validators themselves, because we're using that as a scoring mechanism as opposed to just a sole delegated proof of stake chain. And right now it's about weighted 60% to miners and 40% to stakers. So if you're running a validator, there's actually a lot more weight put on hash and how much hash you can receive. And we feel that highly it just makes the network itself a lot more decentralized than sole proof of stake.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably climb into the white paper more to understand the technical mechanisms that make that function. But I love the conceptual idea of combining mining and proof of stake. And if you can get a more secure, decentralized network out of it, that makes total sense. So, excuse me. You said this is EVM compatible, correct?
Yeah. So in addition to loving the Nakamoto consensus, we love the Ethereum virtual machine and felt that it was a very scalable, decentralized machine. So we used EVM for all the smart contracts, etc. Chains running. Yeah.
And you said, what was the fork? What was the underlying network that you forked for this?
Yeah, so it's a fork of Geth. It's actually the same fork that most people would know BSC. So it's a fork of the a version of Ethereum, from a couple years back that has all the smart contracts, etc. Token standards baked in. Yeah.
All right. Was there a point where you guys considered kind of potentially just having the previous Ethereum mining mechanism built into it, or you really wanted to leverage mining that was already happening?
Yeah, it's a great question. That goes back a little bit before my time, so I'll do my best to answer the question. But there's a pretty strong belief in Bitcoin here. Especially that the Bitcoin camp. There's just how it was started. Back in the day, highly decentralized. It's been working for 15 years ish. obviously there's some issues facing miners that we've become acutely aware of over the past couple of years in the market. But there was just like a very strong belief in that as a very proven decentralized consensus that hasn't failed and is just up and worked and hasn't really been changed for well over a decade. So there was just a lot of belief in that.
Okay, makes sense. All right, we're getting some hard questions from our normal community. So I'm gonna pop some of these up here and let you take them on, Brendon. So Niblet said, "What market problem does Core address? I understand the value to miners on the supply side, but I'm unclear on the demand side drivers." And I think the essence of that question is, what do you see as the benefits to the end users, to the developers building on Core, and what makes it a better opportunity, a better option for them? Is it the decentralization? Is it performance? Whatever. I will let you handle that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll kind of like take the question another route too. But generally, we have studied the blockchain trilemma, and we think the true value add is this is kind of a great attempt, and we think we're solving the trilemma of decentralization, security, and scalability. So most chains compromise on one, and that's been a long-held belief for quite some time, that you can have two pieces of the triangle, you got to let one go. So the value add to the developers themselves is that we're not compromising on any of those key pillars in terms of the blockchain trilemma. And if you go to recent events, there's certainly some skepticism around this move to sole proof of stake. So we generally think that Satoshi Plus and baking in Bitcoin is the way to go for as the next billion plus people come into crypto. We don't think that blockchain should compromise in any way on decentralization, security, or scalability. So that's the main value prop to developers. The other piece, and like, I could have misread the question a bit, but it's also important that, hey, if we build this cool technology, it's kind of useless if no one's using it. And so when we designed the chain and started to think about launch, like, we were trying to be very thoughtful about acquiring a community as well, and getting people to actually use it, because users lead to protocols coming on board, and then the more protocols bring more users. You kind of want to create this this flywheel. So we thankfully built up, on top of the tech innovation with the consensus, we built up a massive community that I kind of talked about in the first part. And we did that through like unique tactics, where we had partnered with a mobile app called the Satoshi app, and built up, large base of customers that are already on chain. We already have 2 million addresses, 1.2 million claim the airdrop, 60% of which staked. So like almost no one sold, which was amazing. So like our value prop to devs right now is, like, we're not even offering, we're going to have some exciting news on grants and like what we're calling the S prize, but we've got like basically coming up on 200 plus projects just because of the size of the community. Because
that's amazing.
Devs want their tools to be used. And it's been 3 weeks, 3 weeks since launching. So yeah, that's the other piece. Like, on the demand side, I just, it's important that people actually use it. You could have like the best tech in the world, but if no one's coming in the door, it's not very valuable unless you create a community or some sort of flywheel. We did that pretty thoughtfully.
Yeah, that's an effective community. I certainly saw that in the response to the pre-announcement.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What, so you've got about 200 protocols coming on board. Are most of those folks who are kind of on other chains and saying, hey, this looks like a good opportunity, look at this user base, I want to reach out to these folks and get users? Is that basically what you're seeing?
Yeah, the majority of which are kind of existing teams that are typically EVM compatible, that may have like just not won the DEX war on a certain chain, right? So they may be in like the 5th ranked DEX, and in a lot of these places, TVL has gone down, usage has gone down. So I think teams are really trying to build some traction. They're hurting with fairly small treasuries as well. So a lot of teams basically looking at this big engaged user base and trying to become the de facto DEX or the de facto lend borrow, which is pretty exciting. And then we've got teams that have just built from the ground up for the first time, which is pretty awesome too. That were kind of with us for the testnet last summer.
Nice.
Launching fresh. So that's been pretty cool to see as well. And they've kind of they had pre-built communities. So you're seeing some pretty good engagement there because they'd been around on testnet for a while.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So going forward, did you say you are gonna have some incentives and or grants for developers in the space, or is there going to be revenue sharing, or what are your thoughts on where you're headed with that? You're the guy that has to make that happen, right?
Yeah, partly. And I mean, you guys see so many chains. It'd be great to jam on this a bit, but as we kind of look at the market, we wanted to do things a little differently. We don't think that just one-off grants are necessarily the best method to get teams to build on a chain. What we've seen is chains spending tons of money, and there's not really a lot of accountability or impact created down the road, right? There's no I guess checks and balance to make sure that the money that was spent had the return that you want. But we get that you need to help teams make that transition, especially as a new chain. So we kind of came up with this cool idea that we're calling the Satoshi Prize. A lot of stuff going back to Satoshi here at Core, S Prize for short. And what we're going to do is we're going to launch a bunch of these, but we're basically going to have a prize pool, right? Like a big prize pool in a vertical. So for simplicity, I'll just say, gaming, just to make it really easy. And we'll say something like the game that can get the most active addresses, weekly active addresses, and TVL will win 50% of the prize pool. Second place will get 25%. Third place will get 15%, down. And we want a long tail payout of 50 prizes. And
Wow.
We'll take snapshots, and everything will be done on chain. At the 3-6 month mark, maybe even 9-12. We'll have multiple of these prizes launching at a given time. And then it's very easy for the community to just see where the money's going and why projects got the money. Whereas right now, a lot of times grants are just behind closed doors, one-off ad hoc deals based on different teams.
Right.
And the community doesn't really know why the hell team A got that, team B got this. And it creates a lot of overhead in a decentralized org. So yeah, we're pretty pumped. We're going to be getting that out this week, launching, and we're going to launch 2 actually pretty substantial prize pools that are going to, there's going to be over 100 payouts. So we're pretty excited. Lots of teams are already eligible. I mentioned the 200 plus projects. They got a bit of a head start, but yeah, we'll stay tuned for that this week.
That's awesome, man. That's really great to hear.
The X Prize,
I think that's a great approach.
Yeah. So it'll be.
Yeah, we had some
excited about it.
Yeah, we had some interesting conversations with different groups. I think the Polygon guys said they abandoned the grant proposal. The BNB chains were still going full steam ahead at 50 grand. I think Phantom's still doing grants, right, Brad?
No, Phantom is still doing grants. Yeah. Voted on by validators.
Yeah, so I think your approach is a nice blend of all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also
makes a lot of sense.
So we do realize it's a bit of it does take developers work to come to a new chain. It is a bit of a risk too, right? So we're just trying to balance both. Yeah.
Well, it's cool if they're EVM compatible, right? Because then if it's an EVM based smart contract, then there's probably a couple of tweaks here and there, but nothing horrible. I think that makes a ton of sense. I like the model a lot. What are you guys going really hardcore after gaming and DeFi, and if are you targeting any one specifically of existing projects, or are you just kind of saying we want a wide variety of people playing?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot to unpack there, but right now we're just trying to just because we're so new, I think we're focused on getting the table stakes pieces in place. So it started with a bridge partner with Layer 0 that we're excited about. That's launching in a week. So bridging is really important. We've got an Oracle provider already that teams are starting to build on, so that pulling in pricing feeds and you can get real world API feeds too, not just decentralized pricing, which is pretty neat. That's our partner Switchboard. And then we want like coverage in DeFi. It's important that like a lot of our users are net new to crypto, which is awesome. So it's like a big opportunity to try DeFi for the first time, especially in regions where it's really valuable. So we want to get the bases in place over the coming quarter, like a solid DEX, solid lend borrow, lots of liquidity, like a thriving money market ecosystem that we can build on. Then from there, we are really excited about gaming. We're working. I'm trying to how much I can share. Like we're working with a team to have like a dedicated BD process for games because we're very excited about that space on like both a short-term, long-term approach. We think that's like a big thing that's going to bring net new people into crypto. Like absolutely. A killer game with referral mechanics. We really think that could be the next huge thing. And all this stuff is like one step at a time, right? So it's like gaming and then the other cool apps. So yeah, we're focused on that. And then long term, I think we're we don't have like necessarily a strong opinion. I think we're pretty open, but we'll probably have to focus on something or become the chain for something. We're excited about like the other thing that we're excited and where we're going is working with an app partner, wallet partner to have like a dedicated in-app experience. You could think of it as like easy crypto, where you can just like swap or, play an NFT game directly in the phone, like a mobile app. And if we could power that experience too, we're pretty excited about that because, the next like tens millions, 100 million plus people don't necessarily need the hard mode crypto and the browser connecting a wallet. They can kind of do it all, especially with this new like account abstraction that we heard a lot about at ETH Denver. They can just operate directly in a mobile app, and then everything's powered. It's non-custodial, and everything's happening in the background. So we think that there's some unique scenarios there for people too that we're going to power at Core.
I think that makes a lot of sense for getting people on that are new to this space into simple, I don't want to say dumb down, but simplify the access, simplify the experience while still letting them participate in the protocols makes a ton of sense. Absolutely. How has it been?
Yeah, it's almost like walk before run.
Yeah.
It's almost like what?
I mean, interrupt.
That's okay.
Yeah,
walk before run.
The easy mode crypto.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to get really into the web browser big experience, you can do that. It's all non-custodial and connect your wallet and go.
Right.
So there's almost like a
absolutely.
track.
Yeah. In terms of kind of like you guys have this massive Twitter following, pretty massive community. They're obviously engaged. What I don't know how many people you guys have on the team, but what's it been like trying to keep that community engaged and people participating? It can be difficult. And then when a bunch of people get an airdrop, that can be difficult because they're all waiting for the price to go up in the middle of a bear market. Just kind of curious what that's been like for you guys handling that experience.
Yeah. What's the joke? It's like, oh, I lost some hair. It's been pretty wild. So first of all, like the team is pretty nimble and small. So I don't think I even mentioned this, but we didn't raise any money before launching. So we were a bootstrap team. As a result, like we're a pretty small team that was focused up to the airdrop. And we did that because we didn't want to sell any tokens or have early pricing on tokens until the whole community got access. And then like 25% of the tokens were allocated to community because part of our team has been involved in venture capital and has seen these deals on the other end. So we tried to thoughtfully not do that with Core, as many chains have.
Nice.
But that's led to like a pretty small team. So now that we're live, there's a price on the token. We've got our reserve treasury. We're growing the contributor team and really trying to get people engaged. So we're kind of in this mode of like playing catch up and like really scaling out the team because even just like the 200 project partners, that's a lot of work. And then the big Twitter. So yeah, it's scaling up, but it's been a lot of work, honestly. And then, but we're like bringing more contributors on board. I think the big thing, the launch itself, it's funny with the price, like there was definitely we were just nervous because, it was a huge airdrop. airdrops are like, you just don't know what's going to happen. Is every person going to
Right.
sell? Are people going to hold? Thankfully, we had this like very stable price, and it's still stable today. Most people staked, which is unreal, and are taking kind of a long-term view. It was a launch in a bear market, so when I look back at that launch, it was almost unheard of in a bear market for a bootstrap project. And we're still sitting pretty stable, which is great. So obviously, you're going to have people that only want to talk about price, etc. But we're really just focused on building out the ecosystem right now, and everything else will follow. Like, we're just really focused on getting builders and getting things built for the ecosystem.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I'm looking at the staking page right now, and it's interesting, kind of that hybrid score that you give people based on the hash rate versus the proof of stake. That's actually, I wish I'd been looking at that when we were talking about it earlier, because that's actually really interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah,
cool.
we'll have news.
Go ahead.
There's actually some hash coming in. Like the first hash
has
come in as of like I think last week, and we'll have more news on that. But we're seeing it in actually happen. So it's a really exciting time.
Well, I mean,
you can see it start to trickle in.
Yeah. If you've got a mining pool, what do you got to lose, right? I mean, it makes total sense to participate because you're already doing the work, and it's not costing you anything to earn more. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
it's a no-brainer decision.
It's 100% straight to the bottom line margin. So why wouldn't anybody do that? I mean, that's 30% straight to the bottom line. So if your gross margin's 50% on it, now it's 80%. So, I mean, that's a total no-brainer.
Yeah, totally agree. What kind of things what kind of people, what kind of skills are you looking for in the hiring process right now? I guess maybe social media, community management, biz dev.
Yeah, all the above. You should do the hiring, Brad. You know what's up here, basically. But
just the basics, man.
Yeah.
Brad's always ready to step in the front. Don't worry.
You guys have probably talked to so many teams. It really is. It's as someone who came from SaaS, it's quite different. Like the type of how you set up the org. So community management, just with the size, is huge. So we want to keep people engaged. We want to educate our base a lot, like because a lot of them again are net new to crypto. So like simple guides, like seed phrases, etc. So we're trying to bring more contributors to help on the community management, social media, content, help guides, etc. And then the other piece is like, as you guys have talked to a lot of chains, like a lot of these chains are just big BD organizations. Like that's really the bread and butter of an L1 chain. So we're trying to thoughtfully think, like we've talked to many partners. We know what they appreciate about their relationships with chains, what they don't. And we're trying to build out, a group of contributors again that creates this kind of really scalable BD engine where we're like front and center, getting people excited on the verge of thought leadership and attracting great projects. Then we've got the S Prize, and then we work with them as a great partner and do everything we can to support them and build hype around their project, and then have something like an account manager thereafter that's just always there for them, sharing updates and guiding the project's hand so that they're always connected into core. So that's a long answer, but we're really focused on the BD side because like chains seem to live and die by that and how they treat partners, and builders are very important.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Shizzy asked a question on the tokenomics. CoinGecko says 63 million in circulation and 2.1 billion max supply. Can you speak on the token allocation?
That looks really professional, by the way. Super cool how that pops up. So as you can see, we have a hard cap of 2.1 billion tokens. That again is a head nod to the 21 million Bitcoins. So that's a sound supply that will never go above 2.1. There's also a burn mechanism similar to, like right now, 10% of transaction fees go to a burn address. So the supply will actually go down, but the DAO will have the opportunity to move that up or get rid of that. So we kind of have the sound money piece from Ethereum. But as you can see, the circulating supply is very low, and that's thoughtful from us. We didn't want to flood the market with a ton of tokens. And block rewards are also paying out for 81 years. So
Wow.
we took like a very long-term view as opposed to like, so that's why the circulating supply is it's pretty small, right, compared to the max. So it'll kind of come out over time. In terms of the tokenomics themselves, 25% is being allocated to the community. And there was a 25% of their allocation.
Brendon, you broke up on me a little bit.
Oh, you guys can hear me okay now?
Yeah, the percentages I couldn't hear. You said 25% and then you broke up.
Okay, thanks for the call out. Yeah, so 25% of total supply is being allocated to the community. We have a breakdown on our blog on this. So 25% of the 25% was available on that airdrop event that happened 3 weeks ago. It'll be vesting thereafter for 2 years, and we'll be sharing more details on the vesting schedule. 40% is going to the validators. So again, that's to produce blocks for the next 81 years. We have, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but there's like, 10% reserve, 10% treasury, and then 15% allocated to the team. And then there's like a very small, like 1 or 2% to relayers for that trustless relaying mechanism that we talked about for the Bitcoin hash.
Sure.
So yeah, very long-term approach. There were no inside tokens or investors. It's like pretty much a community-owned chain, which was kind of what we wanted from the start. So we have a big group of holders with like pretty reasonable amount of core holdings, which is what we wanted. We didn't want like one big investor with the big bag. And yeah, they're going to be paying on a long term. So that's why the circulating supply at the moment is so small generally.
Yeah, makes sense.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. How if somebody wants to come in, get involved, have a wallet, buy some tokens, what's kind of the onboarding process should they go through? Where should they go to get engaged with you guys?
Yeah, I think the best place is Discord. That's it's like very crypto, as you guys know. It's kind of become our hive in a way. So to actually get involved and contribute and learn, I think Discord is a lot more hands-on because there's guides, there's people to help, there's questions. So there's little communities being built around art, memes, NFT projects. It's actually pretty amazing. And there's 250,000 people in that Discord, which is pretty wild.
Okay.
And it's growing. Yeah, it's that's the more full-on experience. So, and you can also apply for partnership. You can become a moderator. You can apply to contribute as well. So I'd say that's like a great place to start, and it's set up really well by our community team. And then for like the higher level updates, Twitter is a great spot just to understand like when we're promoting, talking more about the chain here, how-to guides, our long-form content. We have a lot of great like long-form content on the blog. It's a great way to kind of like stay engaged and just see what's new happening in the ecosystem. But yeah, if you want to actually start using Core and get involved, I would start in the Discord. There's even community faucets. There's ways to like the transaction costs are so low right now that there's a bunch of faucets you can easily get up and running immediately by just kind of like figuring it out in the Discord. And you can get up, try a bunch of protocols, and you're good to go. And it works with MetaMask and like most EVM chains. You just got to add the RPC and you're using Core.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, you're still there. You froze up for a second. That sounds fantastic, man. Well, listen, we will put in the show notes the link to the website and the Discord and the Twitter handle. Make sure, and yours, and make sure that everybody knows where to reach you guys. But sounds incredibly promising. It's obviously a unique model. I've not encountered it ever before. Developers that want to get engaged with you guys, just hit the website, start looking at the documentation there. Are you handling outreach on that front, Brendon?
Yeah, myself and a few others. But yeah, we got this great developers page that honestly needs an overhaul. So we're going to be revamping it. But there is a partner forum.
Cool.
And someone will get in touch very soon. So you can fill out the form. All of our docs are on that page as well. So I think it's CoreDAO.org/developers. So yeah, you can apply for partnership. To learn more, we'll get in touch with you on Telegram or email. And then all the docs are listed there. So how to do a smart contract, how to create a token, all the docs are public, which is great.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, is there anything else we should know about CoreDAO before we break?
I think I just appreciate you guys having me on. Good energy.
Of course.
Chat at East Denver, and yeah, thanks for giving us a chance. So we're really, at this point, a lot more presence in Asia. So it was great to talk to you because a lot of people at East Denver in America haven't, are still learning about Core. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. But I think the big takeaway here is we're still really early. It's been 3 weeks since tokens have been available.
Yeah. Yep.
And the launch went really great. Big user base, lots of builders coming on board. So we're just excited for this year because again, it's been 3 weeks and a lot has happened. So the community is great. They're going to have a lot of amazing things built this year. I'm blown away by all the things being launched that I'm not even, I just see it on Twitter, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I would say this to the people that got the airdrop and the people that are staking and people that are taking a look at this, obviously do your own research. This is not financial advice, but historically, in the case of chains, the people who come in earliest and hold the longest have reaped for the most part, significant value from that. So that's all I would say is that building a blockchain takes a huge amount of work and a huge amount of effort. And then once it's launched, it's only been out for 3 weeks, growing it also takes a lot of work. And it sounds like you guys are way ahead of the curve. If you've already got 200 protocols coming on board, you have a huge community. You got 60% of people in a massive airdrop staking. I would say to me, the outlook looks pretty positive. So that's all I would say to folks is this is a long haul, long time horizon type investment if it's something you decide with your own research that you want to do. But I definitely, I think there's always promise in being first or early. So.
Yeah, I would add that, most of the time when we see chains at this level, there isn't a community there yet.
Exactly.
The fact that you have, and you're in all the underserved markets, which is what I like to see too, because we often focus so much on North America and Europe. And to me, just the amount of presence in, all over Africa, all over, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, China, Japan, South America, India. It was super refreshing for me to see the engagement from all those communities. So I think you're way ahead of the game. And to what Brad said, look, it is a long play, and you have to do your own research, but you have to expect that this is something that's going to take a while to really reap those giant rewards. So stay in the game, believe in the chain, and go from there.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
well, Brendon, thank you so much for joining us today, man. It was great to meet you in person and great to do this call today. We'll have to get back with you in several months and see how things are rolling with CoreDAO, but really appreciate you coming on and telling us about what you guys are up to. It's really unique. It sounds like it has good potential and powerful capabilities. So looking forward to see how things go with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you both. Gracious hosts, made it very easy. So yeah, let's keep in touch. It was also nice to meet in person, to put a face to the video. So that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun. I love those in real life interactions. It's so cool. That's what, I think that everybody in the community that's watching this in your community, I could say that, I met the people, they're real, they're credible, and you're in the right place.
Absolutely. Forik, one of our regular listeners, says, thanks, Brendon. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you joining us, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, care. Brendon.
Both. Thanks, Brad. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See you later, buddy. Cool. Yeah. It's, I just can't get over the size of the community. That's what impresses me. And I love the markets they're serving. And, anybody who's, really about disintermediating authoritarian structures in other countries that tend to extract wealth from the little guys should be supporting something like this. because this, I mean, we always get by in this country and in Europe, but, in a lot of the markets where I see presence of Core, it is, not to exaggerate, but it's life or death a lot of times in what you get. So I love this because of that disintermediation, taking out oligarchic structures in these various societies to go direct to the people. And that's what we're really all about, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Nah, impressive stuff. I'm excited to see where they go with it. And if they can onboard that many protocols very quickly, it certainly puts it in good stead, right? If you don't have anything to do on your chain, it's difficult to actually keep people engaged, and then they'll just keep dumping on you. But if you've got 200 protocols coming in with things to do, games, NFTs, DeFi, earning, staking, yield farming, whatever it is, that's really going to make a huge difference to success. So I think that's great to see, man. Thank you, Shizzy. Shizzy said great job.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
Shizzy. All right, buddy.
All right, Joe, you got anything else for today?
No, I'm just going to be digesting this and going to that white paper again.
Side of it. Yeah, I want to go climb into the technical side. I really want a better understanding of how the hash rate works in conjunction with the validator nodes, because that to me is incredibly fascinating. It didn't click for me yet, so I want to go read that and understand it better. But I love the idea of giving Bitcoin miners some other value from what they're already doing, right? You're not increasing exponentially any amount of mining or electricity usage, but you are potentially giving them another source of revenue. And if they're successful, that in turn just means that people are more incentivized to continue to secure the Bitcoin network, right? So you get a nice little double bonus benefit there between the way these two chains can interact. So very interesting.
Yeah. Plus one other thing is, and you were kind of saying it, but I'll just punch it up a little bit, is that if they're already running the mining pools, when we talk about all the environmental FUD out there about Bitcoin mining and proof of work mining, let's say, and all of a sudden you're producing something else at zero incremental cost to generate cash flow, you're in effect lowering the amount of, let's say, energy consumption to produce more assets. So that has a positive effect on, personally, I don't buy a lot of the proof of work environmental FUD myself. I don't buy it. But for those people that focus on that, this should be another thing to kind of sort of wean down that or winnow down that argument of negativity as well. So
it allows you, it gives you it gives a counter argument. You and I both agree that proof of work actually is incentives for renewable energy. I mean, that's my feeling. I think that's your feeling. And that what it drives is innovation, right? If people can profit from something, they're going to innovate and try to figure out ways to make it cost less. And this is something that helps to offset, the cost and or increase profit from the work you're putting in. So it makes total sense to leverage that. I just want to understand better how they work together. That's all. So I'm going to take a look at that.
No, hey, great technical questions, by the way. Great technical questions. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that's good.
You definitely dig deep. Yeah, I did see, before we go, I did see one thing that it was just in the news today that the first, Bitcoin mining operation is up and going, powered by nuclear power. I don't know if you saw that article today, but
oh shit, no, man. Oh,
yeah. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But just in the end,
you send that article over already?
I think it's in the chat. I think it's in the channel. Yeah.
Okay.
But if not, I'll resend it.
Look at that. That's exciting.
Yeah. So super cool. But anyhow, I think we need to wrap it up, right? So you can get that cold.
Imagine real quick though. Now you got my fucking brain going. Imagine. No, but think about this. Imagine a developing nation opening their doors to DeFi, to crypto, to Bitcoin mining, to being, a safe place to develop crypto, DeFi technologies, and then leveraging and allowing for some of the new innovative nuclear technology to come into the country in order to facilitate the miners. And then maybe you do something where you're sharing some percentage of that power coming off. I can't wait to read that. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think it was either on Block Bytes or CoinDesk. You can probably find it just Googling it. But yeah, no, I mean, even think about little pebble nuke reactors. You don't have to have the full blown, giant nuke reactors. You know, they do the little pebble ones
Exactly.
that can power buildings in small cities to
Yep.
power mines. I mean, that's as clean as it gets.
Sweet. Yep.
So
That's beautiful, dude. That's great news. All right. Well, listen, everybody, thanks for listening. Hey, if you're just joining us today, thank you so much for joining in and commenting. I can't name everybody that put comments in, and we didn't get to everybody's comments, but all of our regulars, Euphoric, Shizzy, Chuck, Niblets, Sean, thank you so much for participating. Crypto Marketing, Crazy Styler, Official Amon, Javier. I can't get to all of you. I'm sorry. There's just too many. We appreciate you. We love you. If you are not yet subscribed to us in your favorite podcast app, please go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you go, subscribe. And then when you get a second, just take a minute to leave us a quick review. It does a lot to help us. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you click the subscribe button, click the little bell to make sure you get notified of new episodes. And Joe would like for you to smash the thumbs up. Please smash the thumbs up. It'll boost us in the algorithm. It'll also boost Core's position in the algorithm with our YouTube video. So thank you much for joining us, Joe. I hope you have a great afternoon. It was great chatting, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. I guess that's all I got, dude.
yeah, no, and I just want to, the community, the core community that was here today, please feel free to join us every day if you'd like, and check out the recorded episodes on missiondefi.com, as well as join the missiondefi.com Telegram channel, which we know I saw some people joining it. Yes, go.
Yep, t.me/Mission DeFi, t.me/Mission DeFi, or you can just search on Mission DeFi on Telegram, and we're over there, and we love having you guys join the conversation. There's lots of smart people, much smarter than me, putting out good information and education. So join.
All right. Well, thanks, Brad. Thanks, everyone.